college football playoff is almost over. I'm recording this in the fourth quarter of Tennessee Ohio State. Game's over. It's 42-10. Tennessee is about to give it back to Ohio State, so it'll probably be 49-10 here again soon. Hopefully, you find this video more entertaining than all of the football we've watched these last 2 days, or at least the college football. That Chiefs and Texans game was somewhat interesting. Anyway. 4 blowouts, which isn't really surprising, right? Notre Dame beats Indiana 27-17. SMU loses to Penn State 38-10. Texas beats Clemson 38-24. And, Ohio State's in the process of beating the brakes off of Tennessee. And this isn't really surprising. Okay, like the history of college football pointed to these results not being close, because when we had a 4-team college football playoff, a lot of the games weren't close. The average margin of victory in those college football playoff games, 40, or I guess it's over 40 of them, right? Because we've had this for the last decade. I guess it'd be 30 of them, right? Because there's 3 games every year. Yeah, the average margin of victory in those games was over 18 points. The 4-team playoff wasn't close. So why did we expect for the 12-5 seed game to be close? Why did we expect for the 11-6 seed game to be close? Why did we expect for the 7 and 10 seed game to be close, or even Ohio State and Tennessee as the 8 and the 9? Like, there has always been a major drop off between like the top teams. So this year I think that'd be Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State. Then there's a massive drop off to kind of that next tier. And most seasons, at least in recent years, there's been 3 of those teams, right? And so like there'd be one good first round college football playoff game, and then we'd have a semi-decent title game, kind of depending on who won. But this year, there's 4 of them, and that's great, but those 4 teams are going to roll their way until they eventually cross paths with one another. And when you look at the best teams in college football, it's really not hard to figure it out. It's just the teams that control the line of scrimmage. I thought that was the most revealing thing today. Like Notre Dame controlled the line of scrimmage, especially on defense against Indiana. That's why they only gave up 17 points. Penn State, they got a pass rush for most of the game against Kevin Jennings and caused him to throw some interceptions. Texas ran the ball whenever they wanted to against Clemson, and I thought that they did a decent job of generating pressure with 4 as well, even though Cade Klubnik played pretty well today. And then Ohio State, they're just super superior on the perimeter compared to Tennessee, and their defensive line has given Nico Iamaleava no time to throw whatsoever, and they've covered well on the back end. Once again, do you hear just the utter domination in these games in my voice and how I'm describing them? The superior teams just doing literally whatever they want for the entire game. And it's not surprising, because once again, this is what the 4-team college football playoff was like. And did we really think that adding teams that are worse into the mix would make it better? Like, that doesn't even make sense. 12 teams in the college football playoff makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. There has never, in the history of college football, been a season where there were 12 teams good enough to win the whole thing. And that is what the playoff is for. It is to allow the teams that have proven that they're good enough to win the whole thing, it allows them an opportunity to actually go and do it. That way we don't have like 3 teams claiming a national title like we did, in the 1930s and all of that good stuff. And so, like, 12 teams, it's clearly way too many. Like, there's been talk of going to 14. That won't fix it either. That'll just make it worse, because imagine putting Alabama and Ole Miss or South Carolina in the mix of this. Like, it wouldn't make it any better. As I said, it would only make it worse. And I'm sure as I'm saying all this, I'm getting questions of, well, Jonathan, do you think that there are too many teams in the NFL playoffs? Do you think there are too many teams in the NBA playoffs? The answer to both of those questions is yes. The fact that the NBA puts over half of their league in the playoffs makes no sense to me whatsoever. The fact that the NFL puts, 2 teams shy of half of their league in the playoffs makes no sense to me whatsoever. And so, have like some good things come of the college football playoff? Yes, the regular season games mean a little bit more, but the result that we're getting is still the same, okay? It's the same 4 or 5 teams. They're going to rotate through, kind of crushing everybody, and we're going to see them meet in the final game unless someone gets hurt or something, catastrophic like that happens to one of these teams. The truth of the matter is college football is still a sport where the rich gets richer. Okay, like Oregon is going to continue to go out and buy a whole bunch of players, and guys are going to continue to go there because they've been good for a long time. And guys are going to continue to go to Ohio State and Alabama and Texas because those are the best programs in the country. Georgia, obviously, on that list as well. Don't want to leave them out. And so, like, the rich are going to continue to get richer. Will the wealth among the richest be spread out a little bit more? Maybe. We'll see, right? There's more teams that feel like are good enough to win it this year than there ever has been before. So maybe things will be a little more even at the top. But for the most part, like, we're going to continue to see the same teams dominate in the world of college football because that is just the way that the sport is structured. So, yeah, 12 teams. It was a dumb idea. I think we saw that in full effect here in round 1. Would love it if they went back to 4. That's not going to happen, though, so we're stuck with this for the rest of our lives. And soon it'll be 16 teams, and it'll only be worse. So, can't wait for that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it more entertaining than the crappy college football games that we got this weekend. If you did, you should subscribe, like the video, and get ready because I've got an NBA video coming out later this week. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I'll talk to you again soon.